Why don't we remember anything from childhood? Do you remember your first birthday? Probably not, right? And although this may seem obvious, science tries to figure out why we don't remember anything from our earliest years. Considering this topic, we come across a fascinating concept known as childhood amnesia. This mysterious hole in our memory, which prevents us from recalling events from early childhood, may seem surprising, but it's completely normal. Our brains consist of billions of cells called neurons, which communicate with each other through electrical and chemical signals. When we learn new things, neurons create new connections. This process is called neuroplasticity. Imagine that you are a small child and everything around you is new. Each piece of information and each experience is a new path that your brain has to process and understand. When we're little, our brains are like sponges, absorbing everything around us. This means that they form a lot of new neuronal connections. But at the same time, our brain also has to learn how to organize this information. It needs to create structures that will allow it to effectively store and retrieve memories. In relation to this, a child's brain is so focused on creating new connections and learning to manage information that it is not capable of effectively creating lasting memories. It's a bit like trying to save a file on a computer during the installation of an operating system. The computer is too busy to do it effectively. As we grow up, our brains get better at organizing information. It learns how to create and store memories in a way that allows us to later retrieve those memories. It begins to create more durable structures that enable us to store memories in the long term. That's why we usually start creating lasting memories only after the third or fourth year of life. Additionally, there is something scientists call verbal memory encoding. When we are very young, we have not yet developed linguistic skills. Without words to describe and categorize our experiences, it's harder for us to remember them. Imagine trying to describe the color blue to someone who has never seen it without using the word blue. Difficult, isn't it? Is there any way to overcome childhood amnesia? Unfortunately, there is no simple solution. Memory is an incredibly complex part of the human mind, and despite scientists' years of trying to understand its mechanisms, there are still many unknowns. Interestingly, some studies suggest that scents can trigger the retrieval of childhood memories. So if you would like to try to recover those lost memories, maybe try smelling your grandmother's old perfume or the scent of freshly baked bread from the home where you grew up. Even though we don't remember our early childhood, those years are incredibly important for our development. It is during that time when the foundations of our understanding of the world, our relationships with others, and our identity are formed. This is a reminder that caring for the mental well-being of children is absolutely crucial. Our brains do not store memories in one place. In fact, different parts of the brain are responsible for different types of memory. Episodic memory, which helps us remember specific events like our 10th birthday, is stored in the hippocampus. The hippocampus is a key area of the brain responsible for creating new memories. It's damage in this area that hinders the process of creating new memories in conditions like Alzheimer's disease. On the other hand, procedural memory, which allows us to remember how to ride a bicycle, is stored in a different part of the brain, called the cerebellum. The complexity of our brain is precisely what explains why we can't simply recall anything from our earliest years. However, this does not mean that these years are lost. In fact, many of our most important experiences and lessons come from our earliest years of life, even if we can't consciously remember them. Scientists have discovered, for example, that experiences from early childhood can affect our ability to cope with stress later in life. Imagine yourself as a tiny child just learning to walk. Every tumble and failure you experience is incredibly frustrating to you. But eventually, after many trials and errors, you learn to balance and start to walk on your own. This lesson, that failure is only temporary and that hard work yields results, is one of the most important messages we can take away from childhood. We are Synaptra. We are fascinated. Subscribe to stay tuned to the unknown.